Hey, Steeler Nation. This is G.Stryker with the Steeler Nation podcast for the Steeler Nation Quick Inside Slant. And today we are talking about the newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, inside linebacker Joe Schobert's newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers have two rangy, fast inside linebackers that can not only tackle, cover sideline to sideline, but they can defend against the pass. They can cover passes. They can cover tight ends down the middle. They can cover running backs out of the backfield. This is a huge, huge day for Steeler Nation and that already awesome Steeler defense, which has now gotten even better thanks to the addition of Joe the Show, Schobert, Joe Schobert coming over from the Jacksonville Jaguars squad, where they just seem to be getting rid of talent. And Steelers fortunately picked up another steal when it comes down to great players like this. He originally signed a 5-year contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars, listed for $53.75 million. It looks like $21 million of that is guaranteed. The last of it being the $7 million salary this season, which still is not a very high salary. Steelers are not on the hook at all for his prorated $15 million signing bonus. That's all in the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that forwards to this year. Turns out Jacksonville is also going to be paying some of that $7 million. So Steelers' number is going to come down a little bit this year. So it's not going to be a full $7 million against the cap. But even counting for that $7 million against the cap as it is today, over on Spotrac.com, which does an excellent job of keeping our cap for our team, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have us listed already at $6 million under the cap. That's with the $7 million. So that's probably going to increase a little bit as we figure out how much of that money Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be paying toward the Steelers. It's just going to open up some more cap space for the Steelers. Who knows? Maybe pick up another backup lineman, maybe pick up edge corner or cornerback or some help in the secondary as well. But it looks like Kevin Colbert's going all out this year. He's trying to get as much talent as we can on this team, and picking up Joe Schobert is a huge step in that direction. I was talking about this yesterday on the podcast. It was only saved on the vidcast because I was dumb and didn't record the entire thing. But after I talked about Joe Schobert, some of the points that we were making was the relation for like picking up Joe Schobert with an already talented defense like we did right now. And the same thing what we did with James Ferrier when we picked him up from over playing it for the New York Jets. And that was the same type of thing. He was a big fish and expected to make all the plays for their crappy defenses, for James Ferrier at the Jets, for Schobert at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now they're coming in, they don't have to be the big fish in a small pond anymore. They just have to be part of the school of fish. I mean, we're picking up Joe Schobert right now. It looks like he might be the third best linebacker on our team. But coming from being easily the best linebacker on his team in Jacksonville, TJ, best linebacker in the league. Other inside, I mean, you've got Bush. He's young. He's got all the talent in the world. He's faster, makes big plays. Probably a step above Schobert, but having Schobert there, we still got to see what Highsmith's going to do. It looks like he's unblockable right now in preseason. But bringing a guy like that in not only makes it easier for Schobert now to make plays because he doesn't have to be the guy. He's got two bigger guys in front of him, Tuitt and Hayward, up there making plays. He's got two great players behind him, Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, making plays. All he has to do is do his job and do it well. Hit hard in the hole, force fumbles. He doesn't have to be the A-gapping blitzer that Vince Williams was, but he is going to be that guy coming out, making big hits, hopefully forcing more turnovers for us, because that's something that we've been missing from that middle linebacker spot since Shazier went. And that's another neat translation. The only year that Joe Schobert made the Pro Bowl was the year that he got in because Ryan Shazier could not play. And that was in 2017. He had a monster year at Cleveland that year. Had some great years after that as well. We all know he can defend the pass. We all know he can force fumbles. He can rush the passer a little bit. He'll probably be able to do it a little bit more in Pittsburgh, only because our defense is so good and can move so many other people around behind him, just kind of like we did with Vince Williams and said, okay, this is your play, A gap, get after it. he's going to get that opportunity a little bit more on this defense because he doesn't have to be the only guy tackling in the middle of the field like he was in Jacksonville, like he was in Cleveland. So I'm super excited to see what he can do with this type of talent being added to this already great and talented defense. So guys, if you have any questions, especially on Instagram, I'm taking them right now quickly. I took a bunch of questions last night. I know we didn't really take a lot of questions on Schobert, but I'm taking Schobert questions now. Over here on Twitter, got a question from Lauren Bird. What do you feel strengths and weaknesses of this year's defense is versus last year? This is one right here, Lauren. We're talking about inside linebacker, and it was the depth that was the weakness last year. Bush goes down. Spillane goes down. Vince is banged up. We didn't have anybody behind him. I mean, we tried to play Mark Sallin. We went out and did a good move picking up Avery Williamson, but Avery Williamson is not that rangy, fast, speedy player like a Devin Bush, like a Joe Schobert. This is two. We got two fast guys in the middle that can lock down the entire middle. So that was a big weakness. This year over last year, the biggest weakness or error right now is going to be secondary. Secondary took a hit. Defense got better. Defense got deeper. We went and got Loudermilk on a team that we didn't need to even improve the defensive line. And it turns out this guy can play. So love that. Our linebackers are improved. I hate losing Bud, but Highsmith's looking great. And I think we're 6 deep this year, whereas last year we were probably 3 deep. Marsh really didn't have time to come in and get on his own and get up to speed with everybody. Ola Denny too. I mean, he was good. He wasn't great. But our 2 starters were awesome. I mean, you can't take anything away from Watt and Dupree last year, and Highsmith was the guy coming in as 3rd. So now you got Highsmith moved up, but you got lots of guys. Jameer Jones over there making plays now. Now he's running with the 2s right now currently. So he moved up just from his play in the Hall of Fame game. He jumped ahead of Roche, and Roche's looked like he's making plays out there too. So it's going to be really interesting to watch that outside linebacker battle heat up. But secondary took a huge hit. Nelson's gone. That kills us. That killed all of our plans for this year because we thought, oh, we're going to have some competition. We're not sure if we have to put Sutton over here on the edge or if we're still going to leave him down here in the box because we had Hilton leave. But now it's like Sutton's the edge. We got to live with it. We got to figure out how to fill in the slot. I know Brooks didn't play last game. I think Brooks is going to do a good job. I don't think he's going to be Hilton. I think Hilton was amazing. But I'm expecting Edmonds to improve again. He's shown steady incremental improvement each year as our starter at strong safety, just like Bud Dupree showed slow, steady improvement year after year. I'm hoping this is his breakout year. Minka Fitzpatrick is all world. Guy's awesome. Don't have to worry about him. And Joe, people are like, oh, he's getting old. He's asking for a new contract, but guy can play. He is a savvy veteran. Talking with, who was my guy I just spoke with earlier this week? Chris. It's coming to me. I got to look it up because now I'm just going to go insane if I don't have it up. Chris Carter. Talk with Chris Carter, and he was stating Joe Hayden is not a speed receiver. He's a savvy receiver. He's a smart receiver. He uses his football acumen to defend players, so he doesn't have to be the fastest guy out on the field to lock down the other team's best receivers. And that's what you get with Hayden. So worst case, even if he slows down, he is the type of receiver or type of corner that you can move from edge corner to safety. Maybe put him in next to Minka Fitzpatrick next year. That could be awesome. Don't know, but that would be an option. Yes, Carter. Thank you, Chow. I appreciate that, Chow. Everybody over there watching our stuff over at SteelerNation.com and SteelerNation.com podcast. Love all the interactions, guys. You guys on Twitter too, or on Instagram here now starting to chime in as well. Joe Hayden is awesome. Joe is catching up to Sutton. Should stick Pierre. Have a good camp too. Yeah, I like that call too. And that's dropping Maluza over on Instagram. That's an option. Moving Pierre to that edge, bringing Sutton back down into his strength at slot. If Pierre keeps showing he's improving, he's still out there intercepting balls and knocking passes away, you do that. you put the best players on the field, you put your most talent on the field, and that's a way to shore up a position that lost a little bit with losing Nelson. So love the Schobert trade over there. That one is Tomasino 916 over on Instagram. That's why I'm here. I love it so much. I'm talking to Steeler Nation about how much I love Joe Schobert coming over here to be part of our defense. And he doesn't even have to be the guy. Like I'm saying, he might be currently the 7th best player on the field out of the 11 players we just picked up. And that is huge because he's a Pro Bowl caliber man that does not have to be in a Pro Bowl, I got to do everything mindset. All he has to do is step out on the field, do his job, and he will make plays just because he's that much more talented. And it's going to seem like a Steeler Nation when he starts playing in these football games. We're going to be like, and the rest of the league is going to be like, how can Jacksonville let a guy like that go? Do you see the talent in a guy like Joe Schobert? They were idiots, but they didn't have the talent around him to really let him be as good as he is. He would have never been that player in Jacksonville. He could have in Cleveland. Cleveland has been doing nothing but drafting good defensive talent and improving and improving and improving. Could have been that player in Cleveland. Could not be that player in Jacksonville, a player that doesn't even care about their player. They're just shedding salary. I don't know what they're doing down there, bringing in Tebow again, whatever. That's like 8 years too late bringing Tebow back for that franchise. But, you know, what it is right now, though, we get the benefit. It's the same thing that happened with Minka Fitzpatrick. Minka Fitzpatrick started to flounder in Miami because he had to be the guy. He didn't have a lot of talent in front of him. He didn't have those huge pass rushing outside linebackers getting at the quarterback to make it a quicker amount of time that he has to be able to defend against the pass. Same thing with that huge defensive line, having Tuitt, Hayward coming up there, pressuring that, breaking down that pocket, pressuring the quarterback as well in their own right, while working well in tandem with that outside linebacker combination to pressure the quarterback. Minka Fitzpatrick did not have that in Miami. He was a Pro Bowl player in Miami. He was a Pro Bowl caliber player. Gets to our team, he's an all-pro, best in the league. And that's why the sum of your parts get even better when your parts are better than other people's parts. And you get them playing in tandem, all on the same page. That's why I am so excited about having him on the team. Yep, with you. Yeah, Hayden and Fitzpatrick are holding it down. Mason Rudolph, yeah, I was talking about that too. He had a good game, 8 for 9, 78 yards. I'm not going to crap on Mason Rudolph. I loved what Haskins did. I mean, I don't know if you guys on Instagram have been seeing me and Riddick going back and forth. He just posted our video where we were talking about Haskins for like 7 minutes straight. And the last time I interviewed him a week ago, and we love the guy. He has all the talent in the world, can make all the throws. And if you guys are treating this like a Rudolph versus Haskins thing, for me, it's a good thing because you have two backup quarterbacks that are trying to push each other to be better than they are to be starting quarterbacks. And that's what you want in that kind of competition. I do think, and I actually just texted back and forth with Riddick yesterday. And I told him, I said, you know, after that game, 3 touchdowns on his first 3 drives, got a field goal following that up. I said, you have to start giving Haskins some 1/2 snaps in camp just to see what he can do with the ones. He plays with the 2s the day that Ben takes off. Wednesdays, usually they move Rudolph up to the 1s, Haskins up to the 2s. But now it's time for Haskins to start taking a couple snaps with the 1s. See what he can do. And that offensive line worked way better with the 2s in that game last game than the 1s did. And that's because we probably have a couple starters there. Dotson is going to be on that 1s line. But he was just mauling people. Moore was mauling people. J.C. Hassenauer, Finney, Haig. I mean, they did their job. They could not stop the run as soon as the second team offensive line got out there on the field against the second team defense for the Eagles. It was a mismatch, and Steelers exploited the hell out of it. Cliff over on Twitter saying corners are going to be a weakness this year. They have to get draft capital back. and he predicts Snell. I saw Snell to stay or just to trade Snell. That'd be a good option. He has to be healthy before they can trade him, Cliff. Another thing, too, you got to think about, Steelers did give up their 4th, 5th, and 6th picks. 6th right here with Schobert, 4th and 5th earlier. One, I think the 4th was for trading up. 5th, it was either 4th or 5th for trading up to get Loudermilk in the last draft. And then one was a residual from the earlier trade. But you've got to keep in mind also, we're probably going to get a 3rd for Bud Dupree. So that's your 4th round draft pick that you lost. Now you're getting it before the 4th round starts. Probably getting a 5th also with anybody else leaving, and maybe a lower one, maybe a 7th. But there's so few. Like, I'm not saying we're going to get a lot. If we get it, I'll be happy if we get a 3rd and a 6th. I think we're definitely going to get a 3rd, because that Bud Dupree contract happened right away. It was the top of the market, got paid on it. So Steelers should get a 3rd rounder. So really, they only have to replace like one pick to say that to get back all the capital that they've lost. Not a big deal. Like, I'm thinking maybe we might even trade Barry. Barry's kicking really well. That's the one thing about Barry, is he competes in training camp. Anytime we put somebody in there to try to take his job, he's going to elevate his game in the punting game. And honestly, there's no way I can't see the Steelers retaining Presley Harvin III, just because of how much upside this kid has, how strong that leg is, the diversity of his kicks, and the fact that he costs $1 million less than Barry. That's going to be a big determining factor. But Steelers will be like, well, guys might need a punter. What do you say you just give us a 7th? We did that when Brad Wing and Barry competed a few years ago, gave him over to the Giants, got a 7th rounder out of Brad Wing. So I'm hoping they can do that with Barry as well, because Barry is a starting capable punter in the NFL. Middle of the pack last year, good enough to be a punter in this league. And, he had his best year last year, best averages last year. So more power to him. Steelers just keep trying to find ways to get rid of him. And I think this year is actually the year they do. So good point over there, Cliff. I like hearing about that stuff. Lauren, I like the O-line a lot better. I said that in the podcast yesterday. You can listen to it in depth. Go on over to youtube.com/Steeler Nation. Listen to the podcast and the vidcast. I really go into depth. Right now I'm trying to stick to Schobert. I'll do a couple quick one-offs for questions. Mason might get a 6 or 7. There's no way I'm trading Mason Rudolph this year. The reason why you don't trade Mason Rudolph this year is because I don't know if I'm going to have Ben Roethlisberger next year. Right now, Mason Rudolph is the only quarterback on our roster for next year. Haskins, 1-year contract this year. Dobbs, 1-year contract this year. Ben, 1-year contract this year. Redid his contract. Save us money. Get us more players. That's why we have Schobert. Awesome job, Ben. But no way do I even think of moving Mason Rudolph. 0 chance. 0 chance of moving Haskins. 0 chance of moving Mason Rudolph. Now, if somebody comes out crazy and says, I'll give you a 1 or a 2 for it, I'd have to consider it. No way am I getting rid of him for a 6 or 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. No way. No way. Dobbs, maybe. 6 or 7 for Dobbs. I take that in a heartbeat again. They were able to trade Dobbs to Jacksonville 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? 2 or 3? 2019, right before 2019. And got a free draft pick out of him, got him back for nothing when we signed him back after the year. And now we might be able to get another draft pick for him. So that's the type of thing. If you're looking to get a 6th or 7th for a quarterback, Dobbs is the only option. That's it. Absolutely the only option. So that's my take there on Mason Rudolph. Thank you guys both on Instagram here for asking about him, and over here on Twitter as well. Yeah. The old regime is getting let go of the Jaguars. They're all over the place. Haskins is really well suited for Canada's offense. I agree with you too there, Cliff. Mason is too. To tell you the truth, the good thing about Matt Canada is he does a lot of pre-snap stuff, but he will cater to the strengths of his team. If he's got a quarterback that isn't as mobile, he'll utilize a running game a little bit more effectively. He'll utilize better route running and passing in the game. But for a mobile quarterback, you can do a lot more with this type of offense. Because if you already have people moving around and then you have a mobile quarterback shoot off the other direction, the defense is going to be completely blown away. And we're throwing a lot. If you see this in preseason right now, a lot of mini bootlegs, a lot of quick play action, and the quarterback runs to the other side, sometimes with the ball, sometimes without the ball. Haskins is going to be the best right now on the team at doing that. Mason is still very effective because what that's doing is it's creating a misdirection. You're turning around, and when you turn around, you've got the whole field to see. At least it's half the field, but you got players running open that you have time to deliver the football before somebody comes and hits you because you're moving the pocket. So I'm in for that. I think that's 10 years too late for Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, his favorite quarterback was John Elway, who made a career off the bootleg. Absolute career. Play fake to Terrell Davis. Whole defense goes, boots out, throws 60 yards down the field to a wide open receiver. That's what I want to see out of Ben this year. That's what I want to see out of this offense. So that's the type of stuff that Matt Canada's offense can do. Wouldn't say it's just suited to one specific quarterback. This is something too. I just got to go on a little thing on Matt Canada. He is the first real like X's and O's offensive coordinator that we've had in a long time. A lot of offense coordinators that we have are really good in their system, and their system works. Bruce Arians' system, getting the ball down the field, mid-range, deep range, draws, quick and a quick rushing attack with no fullback. That's, Arians' way. We knew it. It's one way it works. Then we had, the other guy come in who was at least getting Ben, got to get the ball out quick. Haley, not here. Got to get that ball out quick, Ben. And that was his thing. And Ben, last year, he's getting the ball out in a second and a half, faster than anybody else in the league. But now we've got a offensive coordinator that's going to be like, okay, we've got to get this ball out to our best players in the space where they're going to have the best chance of making a play. That's the type of offensive coordinator I like to see. We've seen that in New England, guys. We've seen it in Buffalo a bit too. Buffalo's now getting good doing that kind of stuff. Using plays to set up plays, same formations, same motion. One time it's going to be a run. One time it's going to be a pass. One time it's going to be a bootleg option. It's really difficult for defenses to scheme against a team that's running different plays out of the same looks. And we're going to be doing that a lot this year. So kudos to Matt Canada. Yeah, we're always going to hate offensive coordinators at times when they make a bonehead call or we get pissed off at something, but gonna love this guy just in general. You're going to absolutely love this guy. Drafted a punter. Yep. Now, of course, Mason's not worth the first or second, but he's also not worth a fifth, sixth, seventh. He's not worth that either. That's underselling him. It's a guy that's going to be a backup quarterback in this league that can come in and get you 3-4 games, get you some wins. You don't give him for nothing. You don't give away that guy for nothing. Joe and TJ are together again. Great call, Ryan Lewis, off of Facebook. Joe Schobert and TJ Watt played together as Badgers at the University of Wisconsin. Excellent call. Forgot about that. Great pick. Great pickup. And that's going to be fun to watch those two guys because that's probably maybe Watt's like, hey, maybe I should sign this contract a little earlier now. Not saying that his brother's already on the team. I mean, we already got Derek. JJ maybe one day, but not at that prices that he's coming at now. Maybe might do a 1 or 2 years of backup rotational defensive lineman. Love to get JJ in there with the brothers and playing a little bit, but not at any real cost to the team, I don't think. But that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, great point. Joe and TJ, two Badgers, middle of the defense for the Steelers, going out there making plays, and two great players, two great NFL players right now, two Pro Bowlers. Love seeing that. Yep, any Pitt fan knows Matt Canada. Any Maryland fan knows Matt Canada. Matt Canada has been all over the place in college football, and he's done nothing but be successful and have a great offense no matter where he's gone. Doesn't matter what the system is. Doesn't matter who the players are. He's going to play to your strengths. He's going to make that team better than it was before he came in. So watch that, Cliff. That's so great. Coming over here to Instagram for last questions. If anybody's got any. I know I've been haven't been off on this one. We should trade Washington to someone for more depth at cornerback or replace the trade for Schobert. That's A33 Stress over on Instagram. That's a good point because right now you're at a situation where you have a starting caliber wide receiver that is 4th or 5th wide receiver on this team, and that's only because he doesn't play special teams. He's your immediate backup if Claypool goes down. He's your immediate starter if Claypool's not there. But if Claypool's there, where do you put him? I mean, he might be inactive on certain games because he doesn't play special teams. Ray at least is out there returning kicks and punts. Claypool can play every special teams, which is why we're carrying 5 wide receivers instead of 6 wide receivers because that's what Darius Hayward-Bay used to be our wide receiver that we carried just to play special teams, who could come in and help out if anybody got hurt. I mean, that was his role. So we'd carry the extra wide receiver, and we'd have somebody that's strictly a Z receiver like Justin Hunter, just sitting on the bench because he can't play special teams. And then he comes in and immediately starts as soon as you have your starter, like Martavis Bryant will go down. Hunter's back on the field. He's starting immediately. And that's the way they play those positions. But yeah, really, he's a little position flexible, but he's probably our fourth best slot receiver. Juju's our best, then Ray, then DJ. I put him as probably our third best X receiver, behind DJ, of course, being the starter, Juju going in there next. But at Z, he's second best. He's behind Claypool. So that's where he fits in the system. Second best receiver, third best receiver, fourth best receiver in three different positions. So yeah, if you can get trade value, you can get like a fourth for Washington. I'd consider that, especially since we got some good depth behind him. Like Anthony Johnson is essentially, he's a Z receiver. He'd be the number 2 Z receiver on this team if Washington wasn't there and he was on this roster. He can play special teams and a lot of them. That might be a decision the Steelers make. We'll have to see. A lot of time before something like that happens. But yeah, I really, like we said, we're getting a lot of these draft picks back just with compensation picks from losing our good players from last year. Connor's out. Bud Dupree, huge contract. That's probably going to be a third rounder. So yeah, we're going to see some picks back here. We unfortunately, a lot of guys left last year. We still found a way to keep Juju, which was amazing, absolutely amazing. And the only reason is because Ben took a pay cut. Otherwise, Juju Smith-Schuster would not be on this team. Yep. Yeah, it was cool too. Like, one thing I wanted to mention, it was interesting with this Joe Schobert pick, being able to see the wife break the news. So the wife over on TikTok, wife on Instagram has been like letting out things like Yins are going to like this before the contract's even signed. So we love you already. Like, I'm coming home, she's saying. So looks like we've already got a Pittsburgh fan in that family. And I love that. I love that a ton. Absolute ton. Ben gonna come back because we're still doing good cause. I'm a Steelers fan. I got a black and white jersey and a Randall L. Big Ben Roethlisberger on the back of my jersey that I got. Awesome. Big _ C7430. Thanks for chiming in, showing your Steeler love. Over here, yeah, he's a good one from Dropping and Losing. Back again. Good to talk. Good to hear back from you. Sutton just makes too much good plays as a slot to take him away from there. And let's not forget all the turnovers he had last season. You also forget, though, we moved him around a lot last season. He wasn't just a slot receiver last season, or slot corner last season. We had Hilton as the main slot corner. Sometimes when Hilton was hurt, he was coming in playing the slot. But he was playing some edge, and he played a ton of free safety as our dime safety. He came on the field as our dime safety. So he's very position flexible, much like the reason why we drafted Norwood this year, because he's very position flexible. He can be that outside corner. He can be that extra safety in the dime. He can come down in the slot and help out and make some plays closer to the line of scrimmage. And those are the types of players that the Steelers love. So interested to see if Norwood can elevate his play a little bit. Mullet, you know what you get. You got what you get. I mean, he's a decent player. He's a vet. I don't think he has the speed or the range to really be as effective as either guys were last year, and Sutton or Hilton that were the starters last year. So it is a step back a little bit from those two. But yeah, I hope to see more turnovers, especially if they move into the corner and play that. Drop again, another good point. Loudermilk next, Hayward. I don't know yet. I mean, it's his first year in. There's a lot, his body size, they love his hands. He's got great hands for a guy his size, already coming into the league as a rookie. So yeah, he got a shot at doing some stuff. And if they can get him that late, that's what we used to do. That's how we used to pick up guys like Brett Kiesel deep in the draft, turn around and end up being stars on our team and great players. So I'm hoping Loudermilk will be that next guy, so we don't have to blow draft capital in the first round on a defensive lineman again. So that it just always helps. It always helps, no matter where you're getting the talent, as long as you got it. Bush will be better than Schobert beside him, like Bud did. Nice. Yeah, I can agree with that, because Bush now doesn't have to be the guy in the middle. And that's from A33 Stress again. Hey, thanks for chiming back in. Great point as well. So it's going to take some pressure off of Bush. Let Bush make more plays because you got a guy next to you that can make those plays too. I mean, he looked really good when he was next to Vince Williams as well, because Vince Williams was that savvy vet. But this is a guy that's even more athletic and has a higher ceiling than Vince Williams, unfortunately, ever had. But Vince Williams is just a smart player, a hard player, hit hard, did his job to the fullest. I will always love what Vince Williams gave to this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Always love him for that. But yeah, great point. Great point. And nice. Southeast Asia jumping on. Awesome. Dennis Thomas, 9774. Burma. Awesome. Haskins is a great player, just needs to grow up. Thanks, Dropping Palooza. Go over to my podcast from last night that I did, SteelerNation.com. That's got the links to everything for that podcast. I talk about this specifically and talk about speaking directly to a Washington Redskins fan about that exact same topic. So if you want to check that out, go on over and check that out. Haskins needs to mature. Same thing. Yeah, we're beyond that. He's already showing he's maturing here. And it's also a lot easier to mature on a team where the front offices and coaches believe in you, as opposed to being on a team where the front office is a shit show and your coaches didn't draft you, so they don't care about you. That's tough. That's tough for a young, talented quarterback to have to manage. Riddick said the exact same thing. We were both spot on that exact same point of view. For a guy with all the God-given talent in the world, you still have to be put in a good situation where people believe in you and are trying to put you in a position to succeed, as opposed to putting you in a position to fail or putting you out there too quickly like Washington did. That's what, so big _C. Joe Schobert from Jaguars gone to the Steelers, home in Pittsburgh because his new contract and money is with us now. Now, yes and no. The contract is a $53 million contract, but that $15 million signing bonus stays in Jacksonville. Part of the $7 million hit for his salary this year. Jacksonville's going to be picking up that. So next year, cap number, 11 million, 11.6 for 2022, 13.1 2023, 13.65 2024. These are not bad numbers. These are also numbers where we can go, okay, looking at this 26, 36, $37 million, we do what the Steelers do. Restructure, make it all into a signing bonus, spread it out over 5 years, throws the money down the road a little bit, but then you got a salary cap hits around 7 million again. So, this isn't a bad contract. And if they cut him before any restructure, cost them $0 other than this $7 million salary that's on this cap that is not paid by the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the only thing that would be on the Steelers' dead money. And then we're still trying to figure out, that hasn't come out yet, exactly how much money we're going to be given by the Jacksonville Jaguars to take on that contract. Mason is just another Landry Jones. Not at all stress. I completely disagree. He is far better than Landry Jones. We couldn't even get a draft pick for Landry Jones. We tried when Mason Rudolph beat him out in preseason. We tried to get a draft pick for him. He and Dobbs beat out Landry that year, and nobody wanted Landry. He hit the waiver wire. Still nobody wanted Landry. I think he ended up going to XFL or something, one of the AAF, so one of the other smaller leagues. And I don't even think he started over there. Keep McFarland and Balaj as backup Samuel's special teams and trade Snell. I can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that at all. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. This quick inside slant turned into a long inside slant. My computer's about ready to die because I forgot to bring down the battery. So great news. Having Joe Schobert back on the team is only going to make our defense better. Be excited, Steeler Nation. I can't wait to see him out there in the next preseason game to see what this guy's going to do standing out there next to Devin Bush. So, guys, enjoy your weekend. Get psyched up for the next game. It's coming up against Detroit, I think. And until then, as always, go